In this video, I will answer a frequently asked question, that is, can you pay for your university tuition in Finland by working part-time during your studies? What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. If this is the first time we are meeting, my name is Oliver and I'm a master's student in economics at Aalto University in Finland. And on this channel, we talk about education and early career development, specifically here in Finland. So if you are new here, do consider subscribing. Alright, so can you pay for your tuition with part-time work while studying in Finland? Well, the simple answer to this question is yes and no. So while covering your tuition with work is in theory possible, there are a few things that you must know before you think about this any further. First, I talk about residence permits for students and how these permits restrict your ability to pay for your tuition. After that, I will quickly go through a couple of important points about tuition fees and especially how and when you have to pay them. And finally, I will talk about some basic math. Yes, math on how much money you actually need to make per month in order for you to afford to pay for your tuition. Alright, so first, let's talk about residence permits for students. So when you are admitted to study in Finland as an international student from outside the European Union or European Economic Area, you have to apply for a residence permit for your studies. This is done through the Finnish Immigration Service, and when you apply for a residence permit for your studies, you can either apply for a 1-year or a 2-year permit. When your first residence permit is about to expire, you need to apply for an extended permit in order to cover the rest of your studies. So the thing is that when you apply for a residence permit for your studies, you are expected to have sufficient funds for living in Finland. The Finnish Immigration Service defines this as a minimum of 560 euros per month for living costs plus the money to cover your tuition fee. So this is actually where the first problem comes in terms of paying your tuition with work. The Finnish Immigration Service has declared, and I quote, "When you apply for your first residence permit for studies, you cannot secure your income with work." So what this means is that you have to have those funds in total on your personal bank account when you apply for your first residence permit. As an example, if you apply for a 1-year permit, you need to have at least 6,720 euros for your living expenses, plus enough money to cover the entire tuition fee for the first academic year. After the first residence permit has expired and you apply for an extension, the Finnish Immigration Service will allow you to secure your income with work if you are able to prove that you have a job that pays enough money to cover all of the aforementioned expenses. Again, I go through the math in the last section of this video. Alright, so next up, let's quickly go through 4 important details that you absolutely must know if you want to pay for your tuition with part-time work. First, university tuition fees must be paid in full before the start of each academic year. This means that you A, have to pay your annual tuition fees before you can register to any courses, and B, you cannot pay the tuition in parts during the academic year using your salary. This means that you have to have enough money to pay your tuition on your bank account before the next academic year starts. Second, as a citizen of a non-European Union or non-European Economic Area country, you are allowed to work for 25 hours per week on average. There are some exceptions to this rule, for example, when it comes to holidays, but I will not go into detail about this in this video. I already have a separate video right here where I explain everything you need to know about working while studying in Finland. Anyways, the third rule you need to know is that if you want to work part-time while studying, you can do this, but the Finnish Immigration Service explicitly states that your work may not slow down your studies and that your studies must progress at a normal pace. This means that if you do not complete a minimum of 45 ECTS credits per academic year because of your work, the Finnish Immigration Service may cancel your residence permit altogether. The fourth thing you need to know is that it is very hard to find part-time work as an international student in Finland in the beginning of your studies. This is because most companies that recruit university-educated people prefer hiring near graduates or recent graduates when talking about part-time jobs. Students in their first and second year of studies usually aren't able to get a part-time job in their field. Rather, they apply for other jobs, for example, in the service sector, meaning restaurant, cafes, grocery stores, etc. However, the problem is that many of these jobs do require you to speak at least some Finnish. Do note that finding a job in your field gets much easier over time, especially after you have finished your bachelor's degree, but finding a part-time job that would pay enough to cover both for your tuition and your living expenses is still going to be very hard. I will explain this next with some simple mathematics. However, before we jump into Excel to calculate the numbers, let me thank today's sponsor, which is Arni. Arni is a Finnish brand that designs and manufactures wooden watches inspired by the beautiful Finnish nature. What is really cool is that most of their watches use Finnish wood as their base material, and I especially like this Arni XO Elm, which has its case and strap made out of Finnish elm wood. Personally, I love the color combination of the dark grain of the elm and the black and white dial, which gives this watch a timeless look that goes well with any kind of style. The guys at Arni were nice enough to provide me with a 10% discount code that you can use to claim yourself your own piece of Finnish nature. This code is valid for the first 20 people, so make sure to be fast before they run out. You can find the link to Arni's website and the discount code in the description box below. Alright, so let's do some basic math. So first, let's assume that you are admitted to study a bachelor's degree in computer sciences at Aalto University. The annual tuition fee for that degree is 12,000 euros per year. Let's also assume that you have already paid your tuition for this ongoing year and that you're saving for the next year's tuition with your work that you will do this year. Next, as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, you need to have at least 560 euros per month at your disposal for living expenses. That means that you need to earn at least 18,720 euros during the entire year after taxes. So if we divide this by 12, we get 1,560 euros per month, again after taxes. What is important to note is that this means around 2,000 euros per month before taxes. If you're interested in how taxes work in Finland, you can actually calculate an approximation of your taxes using the tax rate calculator on the Finnish Tax Administrator's website. I have a link to that website in the description box below. Anyhow, with the 25 hours per week restriction, you can work a maximum of 100 hours per month. That would mean that you need to earn exactly 20 euros an hour before taxes to hit that 2,000 euro monthly salary. This would also mean a monthly salary of 3,200 euros if you were to work full time. Unfortunately, here's where we hit a snag, especially considering that in the first years, as I mentioned before, you will most likely get a job at a bar or a grocery store. 20 euros per hour is not even close to being realistic. A rough estimate for a salary for these kind of basic service sector jobs in the beginning is around 10 to 11 euros per hour, so you would need to earn almost double in order to hit that needed 20 euros per hour. So this means that there is no way that you can pay for both your tuition and your living expenses with these type of basic part-time jobs. However, there's a big caveat here. If you are a master's student with prior work experience in your field and you're able to get a job in your field, it is actually possible to hit these numbers pretty easily. One more caveat, please take into account that even if the Finnish Immigration Service deems this 560 euros enough for living costs, that is a very small amount of money in order to live, especially in the capital region. You can do well with that money in other cities, but it would still mean that you wouldn't have that much money left in your bank account after your monthly expenses. I actually have a video about how much it costs to live in Finland as a student right here, and that should give you a realistic idea of how much money you actually need per month, so check that out right after this video. So I'm sorry if this seems a bit blunt, but this is unfortunately the reality of the situation, and I really don't want anyone to move to Finland with bad information, because there's nothing worse than trying to do school while constantly stressing out about not being able to pay rent the next month. If you are interested in learning more about studying and working in Finland, do consider joining our exclusive YouTube members page, where I post monthly members-only content about building your career in Finland. Become a member by clicking the join button below the video. Also, if you found this video helpful, do give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend who might also be interested in the topic. And if you have anything to ask about this or any other topic related to studying or working in Finland, do write them down in the comment section down below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks again for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.